What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about 007 First Light going into 2026. This is a nice little, I think, end of the year type video series I've been thinking of doing. By the time you see this video, I probably have already put up Judas, which is the first one that I kind of thought of. And what I just want to do here, talk about the game going into next year, kind of do a reset, my excitement for it. And I try to pick Judas because that's one we don't really know if it's coming out next year versus 007. It's locked in, right? It's coming out March 27th. Could it move? It might move, to be honest with you. But as of right now, coming out late March, a lot of competition there, but also talk about the excitement I have and what I'm looking forward to and go from there. So enough over-explaining it. Let me just kind of get into it. This is one of my most anticipated games of next year. It really is, and I'll do a video on all of my most anticipated games, but this would be, easily top 10. You could say, well, top 5. There's a lot of big games coming out next year, so I think it probably would make a top 5. I think potential really carries this thing. I think, if what we saw had better frame rate, just so like you can really solidify it and say, okay, there's nothing to worry about whatsoever, I think it would easily make a top 5 or maybe even top 3. I've been watching a lot of Hitman 3, Hitman 2, Hitman 1, like challenge videos on YouTube, and it honestly just makes me respect IO Interactive more. Hitman 3 to me is kind of like the perfect Hitman game, okay? And how they ended it, even though they're going back to Hitman, as they've already said, they are really impressive. They are made for that kind of stuff. They've always been made for, they've had ups and downs for sure, but that's their jam. And this is a game that I've always believed since it was first announced, 4 years ago, or whatever it was, that this is a match made in heaven. They've talked about that. Like, this is a perfect fit in a world where perfect fits don't always happen, right? This is something that's right in line with everything that Hitman is, and then just more, basically, Uncharted. And that's where you see the gameplay footage that and I'm so glad they did show that, though, because I think it shows potential. I think it shows, okay, does it have the Hitman formula to it, and is it going to be recognizable and kind of in line? I think the answer is yes, but it's not going to literally be Hitman. There'll be a Hitman 4, that'll be Hitman, but this is going to be Hitman-esque, and then to be honest with you, could this be the Uncharted game that we've been waiting for a while? We still might get a new Uncharted game, by the way, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in future videos. But could it be that? I think it stands a chance. Like the action that we've seen so far, and kind of the potential or promise of what Bond is, or who he is as a person, and the type of stuff that he does. I think it makes it very, very likely that we're gonna get these actiony set pieces, and the only thing that has to come through there truly is I think the performance. Yes, there's so much more. It has to work, has to have those highs and that tension build up and then release it and have, over the top kind of set pieces and whatnot. There's ways of putting these things together, right? It just has to function well, though. And I think that's the iffy part so far of the gameplay that we've seen. But I have a lot of confidence, and I think that's maybe where I differ, at least from maybe some people in my own community, right? I think there's more people that are skeptical, or people that are more skeptical than I thought there would be. And look, that's totally fine. That's totally up to you. I'm here to tell you how I feel, and you can tell me how you feel. We don't always have to feel the same way. That's okay by me, right? But I get that. I get that this is not Hitman 3. And it's been years, and there's been some turning over of some of the people that have worked there, and I get that. I get that. I just think, I want to believe enough of the staff is still there. I want to believe that talent is still there. I really think they just have delivered the ultimate Hitman experience recently, and this is just, like I said, what we've always said, it's a match made in heaven. Any car thing in that longer gameplay, that needs work. Some of the voice acting needs work, kind of almost the pacing of voice, things that we've talked about definitely before. I'm not saying it's a perfect, presentation or it's going to be a perfect game, but I really think, or at least I hope, that it's going to just work. When it comes out, everything's going to kind of come together. And we've only seen, I guess the thing that also excites me is that we've seen so little with so much potential. Like, you think about how good Hitman is at all of these different locations and all the different ways of handling a situation. I don't think they're going to really lose that, to be honest with you. I really think that's going to stay. We've only seen one thing, and even how he solves that party situation, It's cut up. It's not like it's not flowing of like, okay, they do these 5 things and then you solve the thing. There's so much jumping around there. And I think you might not like that, and that's okay, but I think that more or less shows you're going to have a lot of things you can do there, right? Think about what you could do there versus, them not showing it. At least that's how I'm doing it, right? And then I also think, okay, well, what if there's 6 more areas like that? That excites me. Gets me really excited of where we could possibly go, what we could possibly do in those locations. That's like the best thing about Hitman. And then I think there's always going to be that attached part of the Uncharted-esque, like over the top, cinematic set pieces. And that excites me too. I don't know if they'll always land. I hope that what they showed with the plane, number one, improves with like frame rate and everything that was going on technically. But also, I hope that wasn't the best thing they had, and everything else that they're hiding is not as good. I would like there to be some surprises that are as good, if not better. And even Uncharted, I mean, you could rank the set pieces in those games, and yeah, there's highlights, there's bigger ones, there's ones that they would show off in trailers or show off at E3 demos and stuff, but, they could be matched by other ones. They weren't always the fan favorite. Sometimes they were, but they would only show parts to it. And you get a little of that with Bond. I mean, I think you see more of the plane stuff than we've seen with other stuff for Bond, but, that's kind of what keeps me going. That's really, I want to believe in those over-the-top moments in the same way as the locations in the Hitman formula. I want to believe that they're hiding or just, waiting on. They're not really hiding. I mean, I guess not showing it would be the correct way, but, they're keeping those things, and we'll experience them when we experience them. But this really is one of my, most anticipated. I can't freaking wait for it. And again, it comes out really crowded window, right around Saros, right around Crimson Desert. I think one of the 3 has to move, to be honest with you. I think Crimson Desert might be the one to do it. This is like a personal prediction. I have no inside knowledge, just I think that's what's going to happen. I'll say this, I'm a huge Housemarque fan, and not like I just hopped on at Returnal. No, I've been around Dead Nation, I've been around Nex Machina. Anybody heard it? Raise your hand, the 2 of you that have played Nex Machina. I love Housemarque. I really actually, though, am looking forward to this game more than Saros. And Saros looks phenomenal. I really cannot wait for Saros, but if I had to choose one, I might actually choose First Light. So that should maybe show you, just in a brief little history of myself, that I'm really excited for 007. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.